Thinking about an orange. We will be doing an experiment about thought. Specifically, we will examine a simple concrete object, an orange. In our direct experience, what happens? What do we realize? This is another experiment from Dr. Greg Goode's book, The Direct Path. Let's begin with a quick recap of the high points of the direct path. The direct path teaches that ourselves, along with the world, body and mind, are all one single pure consciousness, beyond space, time, and duality. This consciousness, also called awareness, is often characterized as being, knowledge, and love. This derives from Advaita Vedanta, where it is taught that the ultimate is Sat Chit Ananda, that is, being, knowledge, bliss. In these teachings, this undivided awareness is what we really are, even when it seems like we are something local, something separate, something related to the body or mind. If there are arising thoughts, witnessing awareness is what they appear to. The direct path gives us many pointers, many experiential ways to discover that we and everything else are nothing separate, but rather awareness itself. Today's experiment on thought is from the part of the Direct Path book that investigates the mind and its functions. The purpose of this experiment is to deconstruct the assumption we usually have that our experience is divided. This assumed division or gap is between thoughts inside of us versus a world outside of us. We also assume that thoughts can successfully bridge this gap. How do we imagine this happens? By the ability of thoughts, when accurate, to represent or resemble or point to the objects outside of us. This assumed division between inner and outer, or thought and world, is a very strong assumption for many of us. It makes us assume that we are finite, temporary, perishable body or mind. It has the potential to make us feel separate, cut off, and alienated. Our experiment, where we think about an orange, puts some of these assumptions to the test. It examines whether our direct experience of thought can verify the supposed outside existence of physical objects. Does direct experience verify the existence of physical objects? Can thoughts somehow reach outside of themselves and make contact with such objects? We usually believe so, but is there direct evidence of this? It's true, we may have the deep intuition that we are one unlimited, radiant, undivided awareness, a unity that transcends time, space, suffering, and all limitations. But because all of these divisive assumptions may still be with us, it is important to confront them and see if they can verify themselves. We will discover that they can't. The result of this and many other direct path experiments is that the divisive assumptions stop making sense and begin to fall away. Our Thinking About an Orange experiment is a kind of sequel to a set of other experiments in the Direct Path book. Those experiments examine our direct sensory experience and explore whether our senses can actually verify the assumptions that physical objects exist outside of our awareness. We discover that our senses cannot verify anything external, and indeed can't themselves be verified. We hope to bring you those experiments as well. Until then, if you are interested in those sensory experiments, see the World section in the Direct Path book, which begins on page 15. Here is the heart opener. First, take a deep breath slowly in. Now exhale slowly all the way. Take another deep breath in. Exhale all the way. Now take 3/4 of a deep breath and exhale as you normally would. Second, close your eyes. Notice that there might be sounds, sensations, feelings, and thoughts arising, but that you, the witnessing awareness to which these things are arising, are always already present. Third, notice that you are this clarity. You are present whether there are objects arising or not. If there are objects, you are already here as that which knows the presence of the objects. If there are no objects, you are already here as that which knows the absence of the objects. Regardless of the presence or absence of objects, you are here. Fourth, notice that you are not an observed object at all, but the open, spacious, brilliant clarity in which these objects arise. You cannot grasp or hold this clarity, for it is the very spaciousness in which grasping arises. Fifth, notice that there are no walls to this clarity, no edges to you. You are borderless. You are not contained by anything. You are limitless. Now to the experiment. We will be discovering whether direct experience establishes that thought has an external object. As you set up this experiment, gather the following objects: a table or desk, a chair, a fresh orange with a uniform color. Then, clear a space on the table so that the orange can have a few inches of clear space around it. Place the orange in the center of that space. There are 5 steps in this experiment. First, look at the orange openly and intently, as though you had to memorize what it looks like. Second, close your eyes and visualize the orange as vividly as you can. Third, with eyes still closed, allow the following thought, which we will call thought T, to arise. You may say it out loud or imagine it written down. Try to believe it as strongly as you can. Here's thought T. There is a fresh orange on the table in front of me. Fourth, still keeping your eyes closed, try to imagine what would make thought T true. We usually think that thought T would be true if there really is an orange on the table in front of you. Imagine how you would test for the truth of thought T. We will use a very good test, direct experience. Fifth, open your eyes. Now test for the truth of thought T. Look and touch and taste all you want. In direct experience, is there really an orange there? Here are some questions to inquire about. What did you actually experience? Apart from the sensation of color, texture, and flavor, do you really experience an orange itself? Can you experience the orange in the absence of these things? No. Apart from vision, do you directly experience color? Can you directly experience color in the absence of vision? No. Apart from the tactile sense, do you directly experience a texture? No. Apart from the sense of taste or gustation, do you directly experience a flavor? No. Apart from witnessing awareness, do you directly experience the visual, tactile, or gustatory sense? No. Apart from witnessing awareness, what do you experience as being really present to be experienced? When you think about the orange, is the orange really present, waiting for you to experience it? When you think about an orange color, is the color present and waiting for you? Can you even tell whether you are apprehending the color or creating it? This may be harder to think about, but also no. If you were using a microscope and even a lab full of scientific instruments, do you think the end result would be any different? Sooner or later, all scientific instruments result in some kind of perception, such as marks on a screen, or a page, or a dial, which are basically just more colors. So the case of having scientific instruments becomes parallel to the case of not having instruments. So the answer here is also no. Do you directly experience the orange to be on the table? No. With no actual orange, thought T can't be true. But wait, is thought T perhaps false? Let's find out. Let's negate thought T and see if the negation is true. The negation of thought T we'll call thought not T. It is not the case that there is a fresh orange on the table in front of me. This one is not much better than thought T itself. Thought not T implies that there is a place in front of you where there is a table, but where there is no orange. In case you have not done the sensory experiments in the direct path, try to imagine this. Imagine that in those experiments, even the senses are unable to establish the existence of physical, sensory objects, including external objects and even the body. Imagine not being able to find anything actually present other than awareness. You discover that so-called physical objects are nothing more than perceptions, which are nothing more than perceiving, which is nothing more than witnessing awareness itself. Imagine that there is no sensory verification for true physical objects. If they can't be verified as actually present, then how could we possibly think about them? If the senses cannot reach external objects, how can thought reach them? So in the case of thought not T, how can there actually be a table? How can there even be a place where there is a lack of a table? How can there physically be a separate me or a front? We have looked and we have never found any of these things. In our direct experience, neither thought T nor its negation, thought not T, makes sense. On pain of repetitiveness, let's review today's experiment. We were thinking of an orange. We summarized this process as a statement we called thought T. There is a fresh orange on the table in front of me. This is a very precise, specific, concrete thought. It seems easy to test, to investigate, to verify. But we have seen that we can't find anything in direct experience that matches or mirrors thought T. It's not that thought T is false. There is no experience of an orange or table, so it doesn't make sense to attribute either truth or falsity to thought T. Rather, nothing like thought T or its negation is our experience. We are freed from believing thought T. We are also free from disbelieving thought T. We are free from the structure of assumptions that make thought T seem as if it requires a belief kind of attitude. We have seen how we can be freed of the belief in thoughts like thought T. This discovery keeps us open to many wonderful possibilities. We can be open to the arising of brilliant orange colors and tasty sensations as though we were really eating an orange, without the necessity of believing that the orange really exists, and also without believing that it is somehow missing. We are free from both sides of the duality that things exist, as well as the opposite, that things don't exist. You can do more of these experiments on your own. You can try this kind of experiment on almost any thought that seems interesting. It might be easier on thoughts you feel neutral about. Try these first, then gradually try thoughts that may be more important or charged for you. In this investigation, we are not trying to stamp out thought or falsify it. We are looking deeply into the structure of thought, and we are discovering that claims of existence and beliefs about empirical truth are not verified in direct experience. This allows us to use thought without believing it. We also find more confirmation that the true nature of our thoughts is nothing other than the beautiful clarity of awareness.